My dear soul, I have seen the sun rise over sorrow and set behind the hills of hardship. I have watched people break like glass under the weight of worry, and I have heard the trembling silence of those who wonder if they will make it through the night. But let me tell you what my grandmother told me beneath the stars of a Carolina sky. Don't you fret, baby. Don't you cry. God's got you. He always has. There is something sacred in knowing that you are not unseen. Something soft and powerful in realizing that even when the world overlooks you, heaven never does. You, my dear, are not invisible to the one who formed the stars and whispered light into the morning. God, yes, God Almighty has had his eye on you since the beginning. Long before your name was written on birth certificates and whispered in lullabies, it was already spoken by the lips of the Eternal. Long before your first breath, God exhaled purpose into your being. You are not an accident. You are not a misstep. You are a divine dream made flesh. Now I know, baby, I know. The nights get long. The days grow heavy. And sometimes you can't feel his presence. The silence feels louder than your prayers. You cry out and it seems the heavens do not answer. But oh, let me tell you what the elders used to say while they rocked slowly on front porches and hummed hymns from generations past. He may not come when you want him, but he's always on time. I don't mistake quiet for absence. Don't confuse waiting with abandonment. God is not gone. He is simply weaving something eternal in the dark. See, some of the most beautiful things are formed where no one sees. The roots of a mighty oak grow deep beneath the soil before its branches ever reach the sky. A pearl forms in silence hidden in the belly of the sea, and a child is shaped in the secret place of the womb before they ever see the sun. So if you feel hidden, if you feel buried beneath the worries of life, hold on. You may just be growing in the soil of divine protection. God watches you not from afar, but from within the very breath you breathe. He is the stillness between your thoughts, the peace beneath your panic, the strength in your weakness. He is closer than your skin and more faithful than your heartbeat. Now, some folk will tell you to rely on your hustle, your grind, your strength, but I say lean into the arms that have never dropped you. For when you were trembling in that hospital room, he was there. When your heart broke and the world kept moving, he was holding the shattered pieces. When your smile was just a mask and your laughter a cover for your grief, he was listening to the language of your soul. Oh, he knows. He knows the fears you don't speak out loud. He knows the weight you carry behind that brave face. And yet still, he calls you his beloved. You see, the world may label you by your mistakes, your status, your past. But God, he sees your essence. Not what you've done, but who you truly are beneath the layers of survival. You are not what they called you. You are not the sum of your failures. You are a child of the Most High. A living poem. A walking miracle. He walks with you through the fire, and not a hair on your head is singed. He stands with you in the flood, and the waters do not overtake you. He covers you when arrows fly, and you don't even see how many were stopped before they reached your door. You may not see him, but oh, if your spirit could open its eyes, you would witness legions of angels camped around you. You would hear the soft whisper of God's voice in the rustle of the trees, the hush of the wind, the rhythm of your own chest rising and falling. And when you wonder, am I enough? The heavens thunder, you are more than enough. When you say, I am tired, God replies, come and rest. When you say, I can't go on, he says, lean on me, child. I will carry you. So don't you dare give up. Don't you lay down your hope like it's too heavy to hold. Lift your chin. Straighten your back. You are being watched over by a love that never sleeps, never slumbers, never sleeps. Even in your mess, you are wrapped in mercy. Even in your fear, you are surrounded by favor. Even when all you can do is whisper help, that whisper is enough to shake heaven. Because your Father hears you. Not just your words, but your heart. Not just your needs, but your dreams. You are covered. You are kept. You are cared for. And no matter where you go, high or low, joyful or broken, God is there watching you not with judgment, but with tender eyes. He sees you. He knows you. And he loves you still. So walk on, child. Walk on with the knowing that you are never, ever alone. For the eyes of God are upon you and his arms are around you. Always. There is no sorrow too small for the eyes of God and no suffering too deep for his heart to hold. I know, because I've felt the kind of ache that lives in the bones, the kind of hurt that won't let go, that rises up like smoke from yesterday's fire and lingers long after the flames are gone. I've walked through rooms of silence where grief painted the walls and pain curled up beside me like an old friend. But even in that hollow space, I found something holy. I found that God was there. And he wasn't just watching. He was counting every tear. Every single one. The world will tell you to brush it off, to stand tall, to keep moving. But let me speak plainly, pain is not weakness. Tears are not failure. They are truth, and they are sacred. God gathers each one. He does not mock your sadness. He does not rush your healing. He does not ask you to pretend. Instead, he bends low, so low, just to sit with you in your sorrow. He is the friend who does not leave when the crowd thins out. The comforter who knows the language of silence. The healer who touches wounds too deep for human hands. You may feel forgotten. But baby, let me tell you something, you are not. Not by heaven. Not by the one who shaped you. Not by the one who knew you when you were still hidden in your mother's womb. The pain that stole your breath, the betrayal that broke your heart, the burden that bent your back, all of it has been seen. And not one drop of it will go to waste. He doesn't just see your pain, he redeems it. That means he takes the brokenness, the jagged edges, the ruined dreams, the nights spent crying into your own hands, and he weaves them into something beautiful. Not perfect, not polished, but beautiful nonetheless. He takes your suffering and makes it a seed. And from that seed, something sacred can grow. I've seen it. I've seen the woman who was abandoned become the one who comforts others with the very same comfort she was once given. I've seen the child who was ignored grow into a voice for the voiceless. I've seen the man who nearly gave up on life become the very one who speaks hope into others clinging to the edge. That is what God does with pain. He gives it purpose. It doesn't mean the hurt never happened. It doesn't erase the memories or undo the damage, but it means the wound doesn't win. It means the story doesn't stop at sorrow. It means redemption is real, not just in some faraway holy sense, but right here in the dust of your everyday life. I want you to hear me now. Your pain is not a mark against you. It is not a curse. It is not proof that you are unloved or unworthy or forgotten. No, my dear, it is proof that you are human, and it is evidence of your endurance. You have survived things that tried to bury you. You have walked through fire and come out singing. And if you listen closely, you will hear it a song in the ashes, a whisper in the wound, a divine promise that says, I will not let this be in vain. God does not waste your sorrow. He sanctifies it. So when the nights are long and your soul feels thin, when the questions echo louder than the answers, just remember this: you are not alone in your ache. You are not crying into the void. You are not breaking apart for no reason. Heaven is watching. The divine is near. And the pain you feel so deeply is already being woven into something holy. One day you will look back and see that even in the middle of it all, the confusion, the disappointment, the heartbreak, God was working. Quietly, tenderly, powerfully. He was turning mourning into strength. He was laying gold in the cracks of your broken places. He was shaping you not just into someone who has survived, but into someone who carries wisdom, resilience, and grace. You don't have to rush your healing. You don't have to smile when your heart is breaking. But I do want you to remember this: your tears have weight in the courts of heaven. Your pain has a name, and it is known. You matter. Your story matters. And this chapter is not the end. Walk gently, dear heart. You are not forgotten. You are not dismissed. You are being remade. Tenderly, carefully, purposefully. And every ache you carry has already passed through the hands of a God who redeems all things. Even this. You may walk through this life feeling the weight of the world pressing heavy on your shoulders. You may lie awake at night with questions unraveling in your mind, and silence answering each one. And though people pass by, and some even smile, there are days when the loneliness feels louder than the laughter, heavier than the burden itself. But I am here to tell you, and I mean tell you deep into your marrow, you are not alone. No, child, you never have been. There is a presence, ancient and eternal, walking step by step with you. It does not grow tired. It does not abandon. It does not look away when your truth is too hard to speak or your grief too heavy to carry. This presence, this divine companion, has walked with you through every valley. He was there when the world disappointed you. When people you loved forgot how to love you back. When you were misunderstood, misjudged, and mishandled, God did not leave. He did not forsake you. He wrapped himself around your soul like a quilt of light and whispered, keep going. I am here, even when you didn't feel him. Especially when you didn't feel him. You see, the human eye can only see so much. And the human heart, it gets so tired. But the Spirit knows. The Spirit feels what we cannot explain. That quiet tug, that sudden peace, that gentle strength that rises when you thought you had none left, that's him. That's always been him. He was there when you stood in the middle of the chaos and didn't know where to turn. He was there when you had nothing left but hope's last breath. And he's still there, walking with you now, not one step behind, not many miles ahead, but right beside you. People may walk away. Friends may fade. Loved ones may not understand the depth of your journey. But God does. God knows where you've been. God knows what you carry. And still, he chooses to walk with you, not because you are perfect, not because you've done everything right, but because he loves you. That kind of love doesn't change with the season. That kind of love isn't earned, it just is. Constant, steady, true. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't let the world with all its noise and judgment and confusion convince you that you're doing this alone. No matter what your bank account says, no matter what the doctors say, no matter how broken your family or how silent your phone, you are fan, not by yourself. The creator of the moon and stars is standing in your corner. The one who told the sun to rise walks with you at midnight. He does not need light to lead you. He does not need crowds to confirm your worth. His presence is enough, and he never misses a step. When you stumble, he steadies you. When you fall, he lifts you. When you don't know where to go, he guides your every step, not with a shout, but with a whisper, not with force, but with mercy. And when you cry, he is not embarrassed by your tears. He counts them, he cradles them. He stores them like precious jewels, each one a testament to your courage. You have never cried alone. You have never walked a single mile without heaven watching. Even now, even here in this very moment, God is closer than the breath in your chest. He walks not only beside you, but within you, holding up the pieces that feel too broken to bear. So if the road seems long, if the nights grow dark, if your strength feels like it's leaking out of you, remember this: you are never walking alone. Not in joy, not in sorrow, not in confusion, not in victory. He is there. You may not always feel it, you may not always see it, but you will always, always be held. You were never meant to do this life by yourself. You were not created to carry the load alone. And you don't have to. Let him walk with you. Let him whisper peace into your chaos. Let him hold your hand through the storm and remind you, you are mine. I am with you. I will not leave you. The journey may not be easy, but you are not without a guide. The path may twist and turn, but you are not without direction. And in the end, when you look back, when you see where you've been and all you've come through, you'll see the footprints beside your own, never leaving your side. One set was yours, the other was God's, and all the while he was walking with you, loving you, carrying you home. There will be days, my dear, when the road curves into darkness and your feet grow weary from chasing answers that never come. You will ask why, with trembling lips, and the wind will only sigh back. You will stretch your hands toward heaven, hoping for thunder, for a sign, for anything, and all you'll hear is silence. But don't you mistake silence for abandonment. Don't you let confusion become your master. Because there is a lesson in the mystery, a power in the not knowing. And trust, child, trust is what will carry you through. Faith is not built in the bright hours when everything makes sense. No, it is forged in the dark when the questions outnumber the certainties and your heart feels like a house with all the windows open to the storm. And yet even then, especially then, God is present, working, moving, weaving light into the very threads of your confusion. You see, you don't have to understand the plan to trust the planner. You don't have to see the whole path to take the next step. The one who holds galaxies in his hands is not confused by your journey. He is not surprised by the detours, the delays, or the heartbreak. In fact, he factored all of that in your pain, your pauses, your past. And still he said, yes, this one is mine. Still, he whispered destiny over your life. Sometimes the most powerful prayer is not a shout or a cry, but a quiet trembling, I trust you, when nothing adds up. When the bills pile high, when the diagnosis comes, when the people you counted on let you down, when the dreams you held so close slip through your fingers like smoke, that is the moment trust takes root. Trust does not mean you will never fear. It means you choose to believe anyway. It means that even with tears in your eyes and a lump in your throat, you keep showing up. You keep walking. You keep hoping. Because somewhere deep inside your soul remembers what your mind can't grasp, that God is faithful. That he has never lost one of his own. That he does not begin a work only to abandon it halfway through. It is in our not knowing that his knowing becomes our strength. Think of the seeds buried beneath the ground, silent, unseen, pressed into darkness. They do not know the time. They do not know when or how they will break through. But still they grow. Still they stretch toward the surface because something inside tells them the sun exists. Something invisible leads them upward. That's what trust is. Trust does not mean you will never fear. It means you choose to believe anyway. It means that even with tears in your eyes and a lump in your throat, you keep showing up. You keep walking. You keep hoping. Because somewhere deep inside your soul remembers what your mind can't grasp, that God is faithful. That he has never lost one of his own. That he does not begin a work only to abandon it halfway through. It is in our not knowing that his knowing becomes our strength. Think of the seeds buried beneath the ground, silent, unseen, pressed into darkness. They do not know the time. They do not know when or how they will break through. But still they grow. Still they stretch toward the surface because something inside tells them the sun exists. Something invisible leads them upward. That's what trust is. Trust is knowing the light is there even when all you see is dirt. It is believing the morning will come, even if midnight lingers longer than expected. It is understanding that just because you don't see the hand of God doesn't mean it isn't moving. He moves behind the curtain, behind the scenes, in ways you may never comprehend. And though you may not understand his ways, you can trust his heart, for his heart is good. And his love for you has never been in question. People will try to explain away your pain. They'll say it's for the best, or God doesn't give you more than you can handle. But trust doesn't need tidy answers. Trust isn't built on cliches. It is built in the raw places, the unpolished moments, the broken spaces where all you can do is fall into grace. And let me tell you, grace is strong enough to catch you. You don't need to have it all figured out to be loved by God. You don't need to solve the mystery to be surrounded by mercy. So lean in even if you're limping. Stand tall even if you're shaking. God does not require your understanding to begin the healing. He only asks that you surrender, that you loosen your grip, that you say, God, I don't get it, but I'll go. I don't see it, but I'll trust. Because you're not trusting the situation, you're trusting the Savior. You're not placing your faith in the outcome, you're placing it in the one who holds the outcome in his hands. And he has never failed. Not once. You may not know where you're going, but he does. You may not see the purpose, but he does. You may not even know how to take the next step, but that's all right because sometimes God carries you. So rest your mind, sweet soul. Rest your questions, your worries, your worn-out prayers. Let your heart lean against the one who sees all, knows all, and still calls you his beloved. You don't have to understand everything to be at peace. You just have to trust. And trust, my dear, is enough. There are times, child, when the path you thought you'd take vanishes beneath your feet like mist in the morning sun. Plans unravel, dreams get delayed, and you find yourself standing at a crossroads you never saw coming. The door you prayed for stays closed. The phone doesn't ring. The answer you begged for never arrives. And all the while the world moves on as if your heart ain't breaking quietly beneath the surface. But let me tell you something that time and tears have taught me: delays are not denials. Detours are not disasters. And what looks like a wilderness to you may be the very place where God is planting the next chapter of your deliverance. You see, we often expect God to move quick, to answer fast, to show up strong and loud with thunder and light. But he doesn't always move that way. No, sometimes he moves slow, like a river carving stone. Sometimes he speaks soft, like wind brushing through leaves. Sometimes he answers with silence, not because he's ignoring you, but because he's preparing you. Don't mistake the waiting room for the forgotten room. God is not bound by your schedule. He does not work on your clock. He's not interested in rushing a thing just to make you feel comfortable. He's more concerned with your growth than your speed. He's more invested in your becoming than your arriving. A delay, you see, might just be his mercy dressed as mystery. Sometimes he holds you back to protect you from what you cannot see. Sometimes he reroutes you not to punish you, but to preserve you. You may think you're late, but darling, you're right on time for his plan. You don't need to fear the detours. Some of the richest blessings are found off the beaten path. That job that didn't work out. That relationship that fell apart. That move that never happened. It all might have looked like failure, but it was God saying, I have something better if you'll just trust me. I've known delay. I've sat in its quiet ache. I've looked up at a sky that wouldn't answer and wondered, have you forgotten me, Lord? But in time I learned he never did. While I waited, he was working. While I wondered, he was weaving. While I cried, he was creating. And when he showed up, he didn't just give me what I had asked for, he gave me what I didn't even know I needed. Oh, beloved, that's the kind of God we serve, a God who will let you be uncomfortable. Yes, a God who will allow the soil to feel dry before the rain. But also a God who never stops caring, never stops watching, never stops planning goodness for your life, even when you can't see it. There is no detour that can separate you from his care. His love does not run out when the road gets long. His grace doesn't shrink when your faith feels small. Even when you're frustrated, even when you're tired, even when you're ready to give up and walk away, he is still there, still constant, still committed, still crafting beauty out of brokenness. Now you may look around and see others racing ahead. You may wonder why your blessing is taking so long to arrive, but let me whisper truth to your weary heart. Comparison is a thief, and God is not in a hurry. What he's building in you requires time. Deep roots take seasons to grow, and the tree that bends in the storm becomes the strongest in the forest. So don't curse the slow seasons. Don't despise the in-between. That's where he does some of his finest work. In the dark soil, in the hidden places, in the delays that stretch you and the detours that change you. And one day you'll look back and bless the delay. You'll thank God for the detour. Because you'll see how every moment, every twist, every pause was pregnant with purpose. Nothing was wasted, not the tears, not the questions, not even the silence. God's care does not falter in the waiting. It's there steady and sure, like the tide kissing the shore again and again. You can rest in that. You can breathe in that. So don't rush the process. Don't try to open doors that God has lovingly closed. Instead, stand still and know you are being led by a hand that cannot fail. You are being kept by a love that cannot lie. Even now, even here in the pause, you are being held. Held by grace. Held by wisdom.